So take it away, Jonathan, your story. What is your story? I love your story, by the way.
Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. As Keegan said, my name is Jonathan Borge. I have had the honor of knowing Keegan for almost a decade now, I would say, which is crazy how time flies by. And when we first met, it was friendship. It was right off the bat. It was easy. Like we had known each other for years and past lives. It just sunk up. And throughout that time, we always stayed in touch. And then Keegan continued to reach out to me. Um, at first, I thought it was just a normal, old friend you see trying to reach out, trying to keep in touch. And then I felt that he felt that I was going through some pain, some darkness, some struggle. And he kept reaching out, never gave up, no matter how many times I said I was busy or how many times I said, oh, not right now. He kept doing it. And then finally, one day we got on the phone and we talked, like really talked. Probably a deeper conversation than I've had with really anybody, if not most people. And really cut down to some things that through my life have really been dark. I'm blessed beyond compare. I had an amazing childhood growing up. My parents gave me a Disney childhood. They allowed me to be a kid. And lost my dad when I was really young, 10 years old. And it was tough at the time. I couldn't process it as much as I could the older I got. And the older I've gotten, where there's been more milestones, the deeper I felt like that was cutting instead of getting better. And it just affected me a lot. It made me have anger towards people that didn't deserve it. It made me go after things that weren't my own. It made me question myself a lot the older I got. Um, Really just made me feel like there was this part missing. And you look at my life and you're like, man, how is life missing? Like you have a beautiful wife, you have amazing kids, you have a beautiful house. Like what's missing? And what a lot of people don't know is because a lot of people don't talk about it is you can have everything in the world. I mean, you can have millions of dollars. Doesn't matter if inside you're not whole, if there's something that's missing. And for me, I didn't know what it was. And it got to a point where it started to really hurt because I was wondering what's wrong with me. Is there something wrong with me? Am I sick? And am I mentally unstable? What's going on? And being able to talk to Keegan and have him kind of open these wounds that were still there, but were being covered up. We were being hidden by smiling, and to figure out that there was a lot of deeper things with my dad, and wasn't just me accepting, him passing because I was always looking for this father figure in my life to say, I'm proud of you. You've done it. This is just something in life you go through. You'll be okay. Just to make me a little tougher, because I am very sensitive for a male. And it was a lot of things that I just didn't understand, that if crying was normal, if feeling this way was normal, because in our society growing up, you're always told that, oh, you got to be a man, you got to toughen up. Life is what it is. We all go through it, but it didn't feel right to me. Like I'm the type of person that likes to talk about it, likes to get it off my chest because it's healing. And so for that long being told that, you should keep it in, you should not say it, kind of starts to build up, kind of add up. And then my kids came along and, you try to give them the best life you can. You want them to be better than you. And it just got to a point where I was just at it. I needed help. I needed to stop thinking I can do this on my own. I needed to stop thinking that I'm by myself, that I'm alone in the world, and that I'm the only one going through this. And Keegan helped me realize that. He helped me realize that I'm not alone, that the struggle goes through everybody. A lot of people just talk about it and others don't. And what really hit me is when he started talking to me about that, it made me think back to when Robin Williams passed and how that man was similar to me in the sense, obviously he was a comedic genius, but similar in the sense where you want to do everything you can to make other people's lives happy because you know what that darkness is like. And so you do everything you can to help them not have to deal with it, but in turn, you're not dealing with what's inside of you. And over time, like what happened with me and what happened with him, I'm assuming is that you just start to just go further down that hole because you're not taking care of you. And you can't be there for other people if you're not there for you. And that's what Keegan helped me realize a lot, is that I can't be there for my kids. I can't let the fear of me going young like my father keep me from enjoying the moment, enjoying my wife, enjoying my kids, and allowing the certain little stresses of life to continue to just make me feel like it's a burden. Because it isn't. We all go through stuff. It's your attitude. It's how you deal with it. And I just, before Keegan, I was lost. But I looked like I had everything together. But I was very lost. I was like a captain on a ship with a compass that didn't point the right way. I'm confident it's going that way because I see the compass, but it's not the right way. And it was just, I knew that if I didn't do something about it, it was going to get worse. And it could have led to messing up my relationship with my wife, who's been the biggest support I've ever had in my life, ruining relationships with my kids and everyone else around me because I was just further distancing myself because I thought, oh no, society will never understand or whatever. And it just became really difficult. And, I learned so much on how to deal with that, how to take steps back and how to understand that everyone does go through the same struggles, just differently, or different struggles. They go through that same process, but we all got them. And so talking about them is okay. Putting them out there for other people to hear your story is okay because you never know. You talking about it can open up this door of people flooding to you saying, hey man, I never knew you felt that way. Like I feel the same way too. And then you start a conversation around it. And that's simply how this started. It was a conversation between two friends and a friend who cared enough to ask, how are you? How you been? And you don't hear that a lot nowadays because everyone's so busy. You can't blame them. Everyone's got their own story. Everyone's got their own struggles. So it's hard to talk about stuff when you don't want to bring that darkness onto someone else, but you have to talk about it. And so, Keegan's taught me, and I've learned a lot on how to deal with it, how to not let it ruin my day, but to take it as a challenge, to find that kid inside of you that was motivated, that was determined, that had dreams, and to bring that out again, to not let fear of death or fear of life or fear of success or fear of what other people think to dictate who you are meant to be. And Keegan helped me realize that. And he helped me learn that every day is going to be a new struggle. You might want to still yell, you might want to curse, you may take a couple steps back, but that's okay because you're taking leaps and bounds forward. Those little steps back don't mean anything. They're just more learning lessons, and that's what life is. It's learning. Nothing's a failure because you learn from it. That's it. That's the simple things of it. And the relationship that I can see my wife is a little more confident in me as far as just not thinking I'm going to blow because of a stressful moment that's so small that she can now kind of like ease back and now just relax and not have to worry about me. That's been awesome, because I can tell for so long she would try everything and anything to do to keep me calm, and it was just, I couldn't do that because it was a team and I had to be there for her too. And she can't be there for herself if she's worried about me. So I know with that, it's been huge. And, my health, and the biggest thing is stretching for me because Keegan will tell you I'm about as limber as a plank wood, piece of wood. So that has been huge for me. I've been feeling, pain, but it's good pain. It's kind of like that pain where you're just like, oh, this hurts, but if I keep going through it, this won't hurt. This will get to a point where it's nothing, and I'll be limber.
On that subject, I want to ask you what's your outlook on pain now, and what is hidden within pain?
Potential. And that is something you taught me, my friend. And I don't think a lot of us know that. I mean, us that played sports, we know pain is glory, right? That's what we hear. Pain is glory, chicks, dick, scars, all that stuff. But this is something that relates to everybody because it is your potential. Because behind that pain is fear, and that fear is stopping you from becoming who you really are.
Yeah.
Because it kind of is scary knowing that you're capable of so much greatness.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be. But it's just what the world's made us feel. It's made us feel that we can't be great beyond compare because of this or that. And it's like, no, we can all be amazing. We can all just push that pain aside because we all have, like you told me, we all have a story that starts somewhere, whether it's your childhood, whether it's your adolescence, whether it's your adult life, and they build on each other. And it's so true. And it took me so long looking for someone to tell me I'm proud of you. And, you know, I was telling Keegan this, but I had my own son look at me, who's at the time was, I think, a year and a half to 2 years old. And he looked at me and he touched me on the forehead and touched my heart and said, "I'm proud of you, Daddy." Lost it, of course. And, but that was it. That's all I needed. That's all I kind of needed for me. And that was even before I talked to Keegan. And then when I started talking to him, it was just all these things that I was looking for started to be revealed to me, whether it was stuff from the past that I remember or just these signs that, because I think we all look for signs like a big, giant, luminescent billboard that says, "Hey, here, here, here." But that's not the beauty of life. Signs are meant to be so discreet that they are hard to see, but when you see them, man, is it beautiful. And I don't mean when your eyes are open, I mean when your heart's open, when your spirit's open, to accept it, to look at it. Because you're not going to have a sign that's going to be blatant in your face. I mean, that would be nice, but it's not. It's going to be little delicate, beautiful things, whether it's a butterfly flying by you when you're stressed, or whether it's thinking about someone that passed in your life and having a relative reach out.
It's really a process of unlearning and relearning things. And it's amazing when I look back. I've actually watched some of our videos before this call. I've watched some of our videos in the past of where you started and how you were showing up, and from then to now, it's an incredible transformation. It's truly and this is why I wanted to do this interview with you, to show what the result is, to show what the outcome is in all areas of your life, because you always come back with something new on a weekly basis, and this really is a process, and this kind of lends back to that, and how, you know, we as coaches on our end really take pride in the fact that this is a program that costs money. This is a program that takes commitment. This is a program that takes time. And we're not about, you know, the wishy-washy, this is what you're going to get, but teaching, this is the work that we have to do. We have to go through this work. And you know, what's the cost? And this is what I'm going to ask you to kind of sum this up. What's the cost, do you think, of not doing this? What's the cost of not going through this whole process that we've just talked about? And, you know, what could be the cost of all that?
Detrimental, not only to yourself, but to your relationships, to your kids, if you have any, to, you know, just to your work. I mean, it could start to literally just topple down on you know, one after another, and you feel like it gets better. And I'll use myself as an example, because it's something that I think a lot of people would go through when they have doubt. You know, when I first started this, you know, I did everything. You know, I was doing the championship transformation course, which was just awesome and informative, and so many things I learned on there. And, you know, we started doing group calling, and, you know, I used to be someone that loved being around people. Used to, you know, be that guy. You left me at a bar by myself, I'd walk out with a whole group of friends. That's just the type of guy I was. And I got to a point where I disliked people. I didn't want to be around people. That's not me. So I was getting further away from me, from what made me Jonathan, from what made me, you know, Borge. You know, we're all party people. We all love to be around people. We all love to make people laugh. And that's who we are. I don't know if that's the Latin in me or just, you know, my family, but that's just how we are. And I was getting away from that. And people were noticing it. They weren't saying anything, but they'd be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, everything's good. Because I was getting away from me. And it will get to a point where if you're not willing to invest in your health mentally, physically as well, but mentally, if you're not willing to invest in being better for everyone around you, then what's the point? You know, at the end of the day, and this is something with me, like I was afraid to keep investing in myself because I allowed money, and I've allowed it for too long to make me afraid of taking a leap of faith. always looking at my bank account, getting upset that it wasn't growing, but not doing anything about it. Talking about it like we all do. Easy to talk about it. Man, is it easy. But it's really hard to take that leap. And whether it's just Keegan as a person or Keegan as a coach, he did not give up on me. And it was easy. He could have. He could have. Easily. With all the other people he's helping. He could have easily been like, whatever, man, he doesn't want to help himself, I'm done. But he didn't give up on me. He kept pushing me because he knew. He saw what my wife sees. Potential deep inside this guy that deserves to freaking be out. Deserves to spread his wings. Excuse me. And he made me realize that if I don't invest in myself, it's gonna be a repeating cycle of the same thing. Of me feeling good one day or 1 week and then going back. Then feeling good and then going back. And there's no progression. It was just a continuous. And that's life, is a roller coaster, but through that roller coaster, if we take care of ourselves, we're able to deal with it like it's going up. And even if it's down, we're still up. And that's the bad part of it, you not investing in yourself is continuously just going through a cycle that isn't good for you and isn't good for the people around you, and can get to the point where you fully lose yourself, that you can't find yourself again because you just allowed the world to just keep beating you down. You got to tell the world, F you. You got to tell the negativity, F you. You got to say, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not going to keep letting you push me down. I know who I am. And you got to yell it, because you got people around you that believe it. And even if you don't have anyone around you that believes it, if you believe it, you're unstoppable. The power that you have when you believe in yourself. And I wish I knew this when I was younger. Man, I wish I knew this. I think we all do. But we have to get beat up. We have to go through the dirt. We have to fall down that hill multiple times before we realize it sometimes that, hey, I fell. Cool. Pick myself back up, keep going. And it's that mentality, that will make you better, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you, for your career, for your relationships, whether it's with your brothers or you just start to accept people more. You start to understand, like, listen, everyone has their own story. Who am I to dictate to them how to be, how to feel? When it's your time, you'll know. You'll know when you're at a point where you're just sick and tired of what's going on in your life. You're sick and tired of yourself telling yourself that you're going to do something and not doing it. You're sick and tired of the fear. Because fear shouldn't be anything other than something that you smile at with kind of a crazed look in your eye, like, let's go. Let's go.
I remember having that conversation with you. I was actually walking around in the woods, having that call with you that day. And I didn't expect that we were going to have that call that day. I knew you were coming around and you were ready to make deeper decisions in your life, and that you were ready to commit on a way deeper level to yourself. I could see it coming. You could see it formulating through, going through one program and then converting to this bigger thing, this bigger level of commitment. And it was amazing because I knew I had to say something. I wanted to continue to maintain that patience and maintain that ability to be able to have that staying power with you and be there by your side. But I also had to give you that extra push over the edge and say, we need to put some skin in the game and put, your money where your mouth is. Because what I was seeing was the same thing that I had experienced in my own life. Was I had a really hard time parting with things that I had saved and money that I had and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, like, if I'm not living with it now, right? If I'm not living with it now, because I have it, but I know I don't have something in here. And I can feel that. And I can keep trying to lie to myself, and I can keep trying to, like, bullshit my way through this whole thing and save my way to freedom, whatever the hell that means. I don't know what that even means. Anyway. But I was actually breaking the laws of abundance as well in the same process. Right. And it was because the fear of holding on to that, just like the fear of holding on to an old job that you don't like, or an old something that you don't like. The fear that I had around that was just keeping me held. So when I saw you break through that, I had my own remembrance of the moments that I had done it. And I was just like, it was the happiest moment for me after all that time working with you as a coach, just knowing that you had the feeling that I was trying to give to you, that I was trying to portray to you, of it doesn't have power over you anymore. You're more powerful than that. And you have more potential than this holding relationship with this. And when you let it go, guess what happens? You realize the moment that you let that go, opportunity arises, right? The moment that happens, opportunity arises.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're sending a message to yourself, which is creating everything.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, that's, for too long I've been that way. And it's, it's crazy because when I hear the stories of my father and how he was with money, my mom was like, he enjoyed it. Your father busted his butt off working 12 hours a day, painting cars, working in the shop, and he enjoyed it. That's why you remember growing up with all these toys and, with all this stuff. And he's like, he knew to save it, but he also knew that, you only get one shot at this. And look, he did that young. But I think he would say that he lived his life. I think he would say that he's done everything that he's wanted to do in his life. Me, with all the money that I saved and me just staring at it, it didn't, like, I look back at that now, even though that was just last week, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can I expect that to grow if I'm not watering it? That's my money that I busted my ass off for, excuse my French. But that is money that I worked for. I didn't just get it handed to me. It wasn't just an inheritance. It was money that I busted my butt for and have been saving for years. So why am I not enjoying it?
And we take that extremely seriously. That's why we take so much pride in what we're asking people to invest in themselves here.
Exactly.
Right?
And it shouldn't be a question. I mean, I know for a lot of people out there, it's hearing the money or hearing the time that it's going to take to put into it. It might make you be like, damn. But would you question that if it was something that was right in your face, going to say, hey, if you put $500 in right now, you're going to make this back? Yeah, no, you wouldn't. And this is the same thing with your mind. Your mind and your body is an investment. Yeah, it's not going to be right away. It's work, but it's that work. It's that journey that gets you to that end point of feeling amazing. And who wants to get to the end point anyway? The journey is the fun part. Going through is the fun part. Learning about yourself and opening up these different parts of your mind and of your body and of your spirit that you didn't even know were there. Maybe doing something you've never done before because now you're at a point where you're like, man, I found that hungry kid inside me. Or I found that hungry, daredevil inside me that wants to go, cliff jumping or whatever it is. But it just unlocks your true self of who you are. It's maybe someone you lost when you were younger because of a traumatic experience. But you can find that person again. You can find that will to fight. And if it's like you can buy a new car, if you can buy a house, or if you can buy all these toys and you can do all that stuff, what's different about doing that for yourself? I think it means more when you're doing it for yourself, because that's something that has tangible results as opposed to just buying something that's a possession. You're working on you.
Listening to you talk is like chilling because it's night and day. Where you are now and where you were, it's night and day, brother. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and always love our talks, always appreciate everything, and just continuously look forward to what is to come with us because we're just getting started.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate this. And to anybody out there that is watching this and that is still thinking about it, the biggest thing I want to tell you is that talking about it and being open about it doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave. It makes you a warrior. And you're worth it. You're worth every single second, every single dollar, every single ounce of energy in this universe. You're worth it. I'll know that. That's all that matters.
Love that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. This was awesome.